Hey guys, it's your boy Euro. Welcome to the Euro family. And this is...
My name is Miguel. I'm me.
Anyways, we're here today to show you guys how to make some... not today. It's today. We're here to show you today how to make homemade pasta dough. And then from the pasta dough, we're going to be cutting it down and turning it into...
Fettuccine.
So I'm going to go behind the camera and record Miguel and showing you how he makes his amazing homemade dough.
Amazing. So this is exactly what you're going to need to make your pasta. So I'm just going to start off with your regular ball of pasta, just a dough ball. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 4 eggs. I already cracked them into a bowl. So you're going to need a bowl, you already know that, and 4 eggs. You're going to need 2 cups of flour. 1 teaspoon of salt. I took sea salt because I just prefer it. You can use table salt if you want. I just like sea salt because it's bigger and happier. You're going to need 1 tablespoon of olive oil, and you can only use olive oil. You can't use vegetable oil or anything else because it will drastically change the texture and consistency and flavor of your pasta. So go with olive oil, it's just happy. You're going to need a sift and a fork. So we're gonna get started now. So I already cracked the eggs into the bowl. So what you're gonna need to do now is you're gonna need to add your ½ teaspoon of salt into the mixture. And you're also gonna wanna add your tablespoon of olive oil. And then now what you're going to do next is grab your fork and start beating it start just beating it in circular motions. I like to tilt the bowl just to get it all in one area. It just helps.
Anyways.
Alrighty, so now you have your eggs beaten. Now you can put those to the side for a second. What's going to happen is now you're going to grab your sift and make sure you have a really clear counter. You don't want any like crumbs or any pieces of dust, because just remember that's going to be going into your pasta and you don't want to be eating that. It's going to be nasty. So have a really clear counter. And you're going to put your 2 cups of flour into the sift. And what you're going to do is you're going to lightly tap the side just to sift it to make the flour go through. And when it gets to a certain level, what you're gonna want to do with the sift, or if you have a sift with a really round bottom, you should make a well, almost like a volcano. But I don't have a really round sift, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just using this cap thing, anything really circular on the bottom, and just kind of make a well. You use circular motions. You're digging down into the flour, making almost like a volcano mountain hole. This is what I'm doing. You want to make it as deep as possible, but also with secure walls, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting the eggs in the center of there, and deep circular well. And don't worry about, sometimes it'll go all the way through to the counter, like right there. You don't worry about it. It's just, the only thing you got to worry about is just in the end result. You don't want that, because it'll stick to your counter and it's going to be a pain in the ass, and you don't want to deal with that. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to try to push together the corners, just because you don't want these cracks happening, because what's going to happen is the egg's going to be sloshing around. I'll show you that, and you don't want that to be happening. It's not your egg mixture. You're just going to pour it into the center of the well. And I'm only going to do a little bit at a time, as much as it can handle. Or, you know what, you might actually be able to fit all of it in there. Nope, that's a lie. So I just left about that much in the bowl. We're going to have that in there. So what you're going to do now is you're going to do this exact same motion that you did when you were beating the eggs, but inside of the well. And what's going to happen is when it's moving back and forth, because it's like wet, it's going to be grabbing flour from the sides and bringing it into the mixture. And so you're going to see clumps developing, and it's slowly going to be thicker than a sticker. And yeah.
Good to go.
All right, so we're starting up with the motions again. And you want to be somewhat careful, because you don't want it to be going over the sides, because that would result in unhappy happenings. And sometimes, you know what, if you want, you can really just toss with your fork some of the flour in there, grab a pinch from the side, throw it in there, just to introduce flour to the mixture. It'll really help things get drastic, and you can see the chunks developing in there. It looks almost like there's scrambled eggs developing in there. That's a good thing. If you see the chunks, don't bother trying to break them up. It's not gonna happen. It's what you want. So this is a process. It will take a long time of just this single motion. And you know, like I said, grab the flour, throw it in there with your fork, start developing it. Oh, see, we don't want the walls to break like it almost did just there. So just keep the same motion going. And it doesn't look like it's doing much at first. It'll look like you're not really getting anywhere, but it's grabbing little by little. And you don't notice it, but it is getting a lot thicker. Like you see, that's not really that thick from where we began, but it'll be getting a lot thicker consistency. As you can see, there's flour slowly being brought into the mixture. As you can see it being brought in, the little powderiness on top. But yeah, any comments for that, Euro?
Well, I think it looks pretty cool. I like the fact that how you're mixing it, it's just picking up on the flour on the sides of the walls in the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The chunks there's no flour built up in those little chunks?
No. Well, somewhat, actually. There is, it's mostly all the same consistency throughout. But what's gonna happen is when it gets super thick and we're gonna have to switch from the fork to our hands, we're gonna have to knead it. It's gonna break up those chunks and it's gonna even it out thoroughly.
Okay.
So now in this part, my walls are starting to break, so I'm gonna push them inwards a little bit. It's gonna throw flour in there, which is not a bad thing, like I said. And I'm just gonna knead it a little bit more vigorously this time. Oh, we're gonna grab some because there's a little not fun times in that corner. That wasn't in sync, yeah, it was kind of weird. Now see, I just threw a lot of flour in there. It's gonna start spilling out, which is okay because it's about time where I'm gonna start switching from the fork.
The volcano is erupting. Oh my God!
Yeah.
We're gonna die from all this pasta dough.
Slightly. See, now it's starting to get really messy because the flour is running out. So this is about the time where I'm gonna get this.
So how come we can't just throw this in a bowl? Just out of curiosity, you want to tell people why you can't just throw this in a bowl and just start mixing it up?
Well, you can a little bit, but it's not gonna develop properly. It's just a lot more.
It's a lot harder.
It's a lot harder because it's supposed to be brought in slowly.
So it's better to be brought in and introduced to the flour.
Yes.
Than being forced right off the bat, right?
Yes.
Okay. Kind of
Well,
like
you see me, I'm really
kind of like your dad when he wants.
Now
to
see, I'm
force
really kind
you
of
into
covering
college.
it almost like with the flour a lot. It's disappearing. It's really gonna change the consistency a lot. And this is where you're gonna want to throw away your fork and just start grabbing it and tossing it around. You're gonna feel like you're drowning in flour, which is okay. But the more flour you need to start squishing it around. Your hands are gonna get messy a little bit, but try to avoid that at all costs. What you're gonna wanna do is you wanna really flour up your hands a lot. See, there's a lot of stuff already stuck to my fingers. Just start really pushing, keeping it together. You're gonna see it breaking up because there's moisture on the outside. Just really start tossing it around. But with that egg though right there is what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up.
Feels pretty cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Now see, this is a lot of flour being introduced into the mixture, so if it gets to this point, it's almost like a flour ball. See how it's crumbling up together? Yeah.
Is that a good sign?
No, we don't want this much flour, but that's only because it got really crumbly and I'm trying to grab the crumbs to put them together.
And you're showing us how to get rid of it, right?
Yeah, you just kind of gotta knead it and put it into the mixture.
Force its way in. That's pretty cool.
See how it's turning. It's when it mixes in, you can start seeing it look less white and start turning yellowish, browny kind of thing. Let me just pull it out of the way. What you want to do is you don't want to leave it sitting for too long because it'll start to crack. It is like a bread almost in that sense where the most exposure gets to air sitting. It starts to crack and it starts to build a skin on the outside, and you really don't want that because that skin becomes really like hard to work with, and it's impossible. It's gonna feel like a leathery texture while you're eating it. It's not gonna be good.
No more Walking Dead?
No. Because Rick died. Spoiler alerts. It was like they finished season 8. It was
that
great.
is actually turning out really cool. Look at that. Can you show the camera that? Like this is what you're dealing with. You thought at first there like it was not gonna get to that point, but it's amazing. Look at that.
Example, this will be great. You know, this is example of how you want it to turn out. This is example of how you don't want it to turn out. This is really crumbly, really hard. This is softish, not really that crumbly, super thorough, evened out. So this in your end result is how you would want your pasta to look. Now you're gonna wanna, you need to wrap it as fast as possible because you don't want it to end up bad like a marriage.
Yeah.
Let them solidify. So if you really want, you could go make your pasta ball at night, throw it in the fridge, and let it sit overnight. And then when you wake up in the morning, roll it out and cut it out. You cut your pasta out, and then freeze it. And then by lunchtime or by dinner, you could
Start cooking it.
Cook your pasta. So I'm not gonna use.
Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification. Yeah, guys, thank you very much for checking out Miguel making out his amazing dough. Remember, this is not what you want to end up with. And when you're done making your dough, please listen to his advice and put it in a saran wrap and put it in the fridge. 4 or 5 hours later, ready to roll out and cut into pasta so you can cook for your family at home. Stay tuned and to the next channel where the dough is already cooled down and we're going to cut it out into fettuccine. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to be cutting it out into fettuccine. So thanks again, guys. Thanks, Euro family. Hit the like button. And
There you go.
all right. Later.